just before that, I'll read the required introduction. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GLC 30A.
This conference will now be recorded.
Oops. Shall I start over? Calling the meeting to order, and prior to that, I'm going to read the required notice. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GLC 30A, paragraph 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Town of Harwich's Voter Information Committee is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to or view this meeting while in progress may do so by going to, oh boy, here we go, https://global.gotomeeting.com/join/811000453. Or, despite our best efforts, we are not able to provide for real-time access, and we will post a record of this meeting on the city's town website as soon as we are able. So I'm going to make a roll call now. Peggy?
Here.
Pam?
Here.
Emily?
Here.
And Chris. Okay. And Emily's agreed to take the minutes this time. Okay. Public comment? No one else is logged in here. Then we'll move to old business since we have no new business. We'll defer approving December 3rd's minutes till next meeting. So old business, we'll start with Emily, who's going to discuss suggestions she has for revamping Know Your Town for a virtual type program. And I think she'll send us a draft and then ask for comments by a specific date. Emily, it's all yours.
Thanks, Chris. So I've been giving a lot of thought to how we could revamp Know Your Town in COVID times, since we're not able to meet in person here at the library. I really felt the program was going well last year until we had to stop due to the governor's restrictions on in-person meetings. So I thought an alternative for this year might be to utilize the library's podcast to interview the department heads, asking those same questions that we asked last year. What's really nice about the remote recording is we can do that at any time on their schedule. So I could spend 1 week recording 5 or 10, however many, I can schedule for the week. And then we can edit them together based on their departments. Meaning last year when we had Carol, Amy, and we had 3 departments here at once. Yes, Donna, thank you. We don't necessarily I don't have to interview them all 3 at the same time. I could interview them separately and then edit it together in the podcast. So that gives us some flexibility. The podcast could be listened to on any device. You can access it through our website. I could post it on the Voter Information Committee website. I'm sure we could talk to Jamie and Caleb about how we could have Channel 18 help us advertise that the podcast was out there. So I think that might be a good way to go forward. The one disadvantage to a podcast, because it's not a live recording, community members can't actively ask questions. But I came up with a form that people could fill out to submit a question ahead of time. So much like we do with the candidates forum where we collect questions and then kind of put them together as they relate to each other and curate the questions. We could do the same thing for the Know Your Town series.
Great.
Sounds
So
good.
I have a little proposal written up along with a draft of the invitation I'd like to send out to department heads once we decide that this is the way we'd like to go. So I'd like to email that to you all this afternoon, and maybe you could get back to me by the beginning of next week, say Monday or Tuesday. And then I could move forward.
Sorry. We're trying to get going in February, correct? Yeah.
My goal would be to get all of the recordings done in February if possible, and then release them weekly in March.
Yep. Nice.
That makes sense.
Okay, I'll commit to beginning of next week.
Okay, thank
Me too.
Yep. Should we move on, or are we giving you the bum's rush here?
I'm good with that.
Okay. The next item is to review the status of our spring program. So I checked in with Jamie because, of course, you know how we rely on Channel 18 to get them out there, tape them, of course, and get them out there, broadcast them numerous times. So we'll start with the financial state. Pam, that's usually yours. And the date that we had set for it is the 6th of April. And she said that's probably too early to have 8 people in the Griffin room in terms of, you know, the COVID regulations. And, but
Right.
I believe she said we could do one person at a time in the studio. Now, I'm not sure how that would flow. Maybe we can think about that and have some comments again by the middle of next week. So that's, you know, that's the best I have for that.
Is that still for the same April 6th date?
Yes, right. Yeah.
Okay.
If we go much beyond that, we'll, you know, we're running up too close to, I think, town meeting for it to be broadcast.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then the warrant review, similarly, last time it was just Joe, Carol, Dana on the go to meeting, I guess, and me. So if we did it similarly again, just the warrant review with those 3 people and a 4th hosting, we could do it in the Griffin room.
That would be so much easier.
Yeah, but it would just be those folks, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, I feel some loyalty to the sponsors of those warrant articles. But I did think last year's went well. I don't know if you had the same, was it last year? Yeah, October, some point in October. So that's
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then for the candidates forum, I'll send out what I believe is an accurate list of the vacancies coming up. There are 8 of them. We could similarly take one at a time in Jamie's studio with one person interviewing. And we could do it, we wouldn't have to do it all on one day, you know, obviously work their schedules. Does that make sense to folks?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then let's see, oh my goodness. I actually have a draft of the how to prepare for the town meeting brochure, which again, I'll send out to you tonight or tomorrow. You're going to have a lot of stuff to review. And then your comments on it and how best to shop it and where in town management. I'm not sure. Yeah. Am I rushing too much? Oh, Pam,
Oh,
one
Yeah.
of the things you were, I know, having some, well, you were going to contact Michael Ford.
and I'm still, I called him again this morning.
Okay.
I know I'll get him eventually.
Because that
But I
would be, yeah.
I gave him the message that, we would do this at his convenience. But I felt strongly that town meeting went so smoothly last year that I think it would be really good for him to basically fill in the gaps. I asked him to think of something that has not been gone over thoroughly before on the process of town meeting, and asked him what direction he wants to go in. So I'm sure he'll mull it over. I know he'll get back to me.
Yeah, that's good. And then we talked a little bit about, I don't know how, I know how it came up, but I don't know how we can influence this. Some explanations for the articles. Remember we talked about that? And I don't know if we're, above our pay range on this one.
Yeah, that's probably a conversation that maybe you could have with, who's chairman of the Board of Selectmen now? Larry? It
Yeah.
is Larry. Maybe have it with Larry and see what he has to say, see who's going to drive that train.
Yeah.
Because and also John Shorey with the Finance Committee, because they put the final stamp of approval on it.
Right.
I know John's willing to participate in any way possible.
I know he's very anxious to get more.
He wants it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants it done perfectly.
I know. Yeah. Okay, that's a good suggestion. Anybody else?
Jumping back to the candidates forum,
Yeah.
I'll just throw this idea out there. If things are as they are now, can we limit who comes to contested races?
Well, the contested races, I think, would have to be by Zoom. Zoom or
Yeah.
yeah. And maybe we could use Emily's format for getting questions ahead of time. Is that?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think it'd be great to have them more well prepared
Yeah.
ahead of time. Then we won't get off topic.
Like some of them, won't be contested, and it's kind of in these times, shall we say, we need to get as much bang for our buck as we can.
Yeah. Are you saying not to have those 5-minute interviews with the uncontested candidates? You're saying, Peg?
Right.
Oh, okay.
That we just limit any candidates forum to contested races. Am I making myself clear to anybody besides me?
No, you're making yourself clear. I'm not excited about that.
Oh.
I think the candidates that have been there for a long time and nobody's running against them, I still think they should come, and if nothing else, they should tell us what they've accomplished, because that might be the impetus to get someone else to take out papers.
Yeah. The following year.
Well, no, by that time, and see, by the time we do that, the time for taking out nomination papers are over.
Yeah. I think campaigns later, the next go around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Okay, so we are in agreement. I like to hear from them. Anyway. Okay, we'll mull that over. We still have a date of the 11th, and forgetting, I don't know when papers have to be turned in, so I don't know if we'll have contested races. We have one vacancy on the Board of Selectmen, that'll be Ed McManus. And I don't know if he's running. So web page changes. Can we move to that, Emily? I was wondering if we could maybe get some help from Jamie's group at taking down some stuff, or I don't know.
I actually did that. I did some this afternoon. So I removed all of the 2020 election info.
Oh, good.
I updated our meeting information in the sidebar on the left. It's still listed 5 p.m. So I've updated that to 2 p.m.
Oh, great.
I left in the center. I deleted all of the election information that was at the top of the center section, but I left under related resources. I left the Town of Harwich 2020 election calendar there. I'll wait to get the 2021 and then update that link, but I left it there as a placeholder for right now.
Great.
The only thing I haven't done is I haven't updated that walkthrough video of how to sign up, but I'm actually meeting with Jamie Goodwin from Channel 18 next Tuesday morning at 9. We have a meeting to go over the Civic Ready system. So I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to talk to her before I update that walkthrough and see if maybe there's something out there that exists from the vendor that we don't necessarily have to recreate ourselves. So I'll talk to Jamie about that on Tuesday.
Wonderful. Good. Excellent. Anything else? I would like to bring up under other conflict of interest. Is that okay? We all set with that? Okay. So Anita sent out information now on the conflict of interest. And we have signatures required that we receive a summary, which I'll email out to you again this afternoon. And the training itself has to be completed by April 9th. So that's a long way off. I started it today, but it was slow on my computer because I think Google's having trouble. Is that right? They had some outages yesterday anyway. So I'm going to try to do it tomorrow or the next day. So I think you'll get that. I'll have a little cover letter, make sure that they all kind of come back to me, your certificates and your acknowledgement, so that I can keep the requisite file, right? Am I rushing too much, which is one of my tendencies?
No, I have a quick question. So Chris, you just need us to submit the certificate and the acknowledgement of receipt directly to you, and then you'll make copies and submit it as a packet to the town clerk. Okay.
I will. Oh, good. Isn't she articulate compared to me?
Well, I'm taking notes, so.
Okay. So let's see. I think that's it, unless somebody has something that fits into our agenda.
No, I'm all set.
Peg?
Not me. Nothing from me.
Okay. All right. So can I hear a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Okay, Peggy made the motion. Pam, will you second?
Second.
Okay, and I'll take a roll call. Peg?
Aye.
Pam?
Aye.
And Emily?
Aye.
And Chris? Aye. Okay, I think we're